Good morning, garden friends. It's Amy with Planted in the Middle, and I am so excited to start this project today. I have been waiting for months to get to this point. I ran into a couple of roadblocks. One was our drainage problem, or where the water runoff needed to be addressed, and I have a whole video coming out on how I did that. And then the next one was finding someone who could come out and move 2 sprinkler heads for me. I guess that was a small project that it was hard to get somebody to come out for. But today we are actually going to make the garden beds. This is the part I've been waiting for since March. So back behind me here, you can see I have on this side the edge of the bed and this side the fence. So there's 6 to 8 feet there that I'm going to be using the no-dig cardboard method to make our garden bed. And I have 2 pallets full of a mulch compost to fill in here. So I'm going to take you through the steps and show you how I'm doing this. So if you are new here, I am going to have this garden bed go all the way around my property. So let me turn you around. So this is where we're starting. We've done some projects over here in this corner, and then we have this whole section here to the trees that I planted. There's more behind that will eventually be raised bed area, and then that whole fence will be a garden bed, as well as the other way. This is the next step. I'm going to go this way next. So today for this project, I am going to bring in some dirt to kind of fill in along here where there's kind of a bump up. I'm just going to fill in, level it out a little bit. And then I'm going to amend the soil. You can see that I've already scalped the lawn. I mowed it as short as I could and let it sit out in the heat. So that will help start to kill the grass. I actually didn't do that with the part down here, and the grass died just very easily with the cardboard. So this has been scalped, and then I'm going to do some amending the soil to start. I want to put down some humic, which is some natural compounds that help break down the clay and bring minerals into the soil. And then the same with some gypsum, and that also helps break up clay soil. So I'm going to add those first, and then we're going to put down the cardboard, and then we're going to put down the compost mulch. So that's what the plan is for today, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, there I have filled in some of the low spots with the topsoil here, just to kind of level it off a little bit so there's not big dips in the ground. I'm just smoothing it out a little bit all the way down here, so there's not holes and gaps. But what I'm going to do next is add the gypsum. So I have part of a bag of pelletized gypsum, and it is calcium and sulfur that's going to be added to the ground, and that will help break up the soil and helps the soil drain better. So when you have tightly compacted clay soil, sometimes the water sits on the surface, or if you have a low spot, it just sits in there. And this helps break it down so that it will actually drain and penetrate into the soil. So that's the next step. So one thing to mention about the gypsum is that you can put it on pretty heavy and pretty often, and it doesn't burn your grass or your plants. So it's great application. I use it on my lawn 2-3 times a year. I'll buy like 4 40-pound bags and put that all over my yard at once. and it seems to really help. So it may look like I put it in pretty heavy here, or there's some standing here and there, and that's okay. It'll work its way into the soil, and it's not going to hurt anything that I happen to plant there. Next up, we're going to do humic. This is granular decomposed plants. It's not really a compost. It's kind of a hard, crunchy substance. And anyway, it's made from decomposed plants and ancient earth. I don't really know, but it helps retain nutrients in the soil and helps deliver them to the plants so that it makes it more accessible. So sometimes when you have acidic soil or clay soil, the nutrients can't get into the plants. They can't break down into the soil, and so this is something that will help with that process. It's also known as a chemical aeration. So that's a term that some lawn services use when they are applying humic. So next I'll be doing that. So the product I'm using is from the Andersons, and it's a granular form that's like super nice. It's not dusty. It just looks like this. You see that? It has a little earth smell to it. And on the package here, let me just read what it says. That it can be blended with fertilizers or used alone, increase or enhance micronutrient uptake. So I found that my gray clay soil turns black after I use this for a few years, and it makes it easier to dig into. So that's why I do this. And this is something else I put all over my yard. I put a 40-pound bag on my 7,000 square foot yard, and I do that 2-3 times a year. So you can do it right with your fertilizer, you can do it on top of it, before it, after it, and it helps just get that fertilizer into the ground. Okay, now I have everything prepped. I can start bringing out the cardboard and start laying that down. All right, I got the cardboard here behind me. I actually had a friend who knew I was doing this project, and she had ordered some big mirrors for her house, and so I have these giant boxes to start with. So that's going to take up a lot of the space quickly. Garbage man driving by here. Anyway, I have more cardboard, but it's a lot smaller, so these 2 big pieces will get some good start here. So I'm going to get you started to where you can see where I left off with the juniper cardboard bed, and then we'll see how that transitions into the rest of these, because you don't want to have gaps in between your cardboard, or that's where grass gets brought out. So I'll move you so you can see what I'm doing there. At the edge of the bed here, you can see where I left off with the previous work I did. So I'm just going to move some of the mulch. And you can see this cardboard is already deteriorated. It's been a month. That's exactly what we want it to do. So I'm going to start my new piece right here to kind of overlap that. And I am going to use landscape staples here, but you don't need to. We get a lot of wind, and we are expecting storms today. You can probably tell it's overcast. So just to be safe, I'm going to use some landscape staples. That is the most perfect fit. Could not expect anything to fit better. Grab some staples. staples and get this in place. I don't know if you can see here on the edge, there's a little bit of grass showing, so I'm definitely going to cover this up with another piece, just going to overlap it here because that's where grass will keep growing in. And I'm going to try to find a long skinny piece because I had a piece over here in the flower bed that was previously done that has come apart and my dog pulled it off, so we're going to replace that too. Okay, and then you can see there's a little bit of overlap over our edge of our bed and where the cardboard ends. And as the cardboard disintegrates, that will all go away. We just want the cardboard there to kill the grass first, and then we can trim it away once the grass is gone. So that's the close-up of the project, and I'm just going to continue down the road. I'm fighting weather here today, so see how far I can get before I get rained out.
Let's talk about the benefits of the no-dig cardboard method for creating your flower bed and why you might choose to use it. For me, it's about convenience as a do-it-yourselfer. It's simple and less labor. My other alternative is to hire a contractor to bring their sod lifter in and pull up all the sod and carry it away. I could also rent a machine, manhandle the machine. I'd have to have access to a truck or a trailer in order to transport the machine as well as haul away that sod that came out of the flower beds. That just seems like a whole lot more work for me. It's also affordable. The cardboard itself is free. Whether you would be having to pay someone else to bring this in and do it, or whether you're doing it on your own, you'd still have to pay for the mulch, so that's negligible. And this way, I don't have to pay to have the sod disposed of and have the landfill costs and someone to haul it and all that. So it does make it more affordable this way. For the boxes, I've saved mine from shipments over the last few months. You can also ask your friends to save theirs. You can ask big box stores to share theirs with you because they have to pay someone to haul those away and recycle them, so they are often willing to give those away for free. And they also carry a contractor paper at the big box stores. It's in a roll, and it's a big brown roll of paper. It's not as thick as the cardboard, so if you have really aggressive weeds that you're trying to get down or live in a really wet area that you're trying to suppress weeds, that might not work, or you'd have to use several layers of it. But it's very affordable. For the cons of this method, it may not work in all areas of the country and with all lawn types. If you have a creeping rhizome grass, like a Bermuda or a St. Augustine, then this might not work real well. It might actually grow right through the cardboard. I don't have any experience with that. It works great on my fescue and rye mix, work great on bluegrass. The obvious con is that this is a DIY. It is a do-it-yourself. I don't think you'd be able to hire a professional landscaping crew to come in and do a cardboard method for you. They're going to do it, air quotes, the right way by pulling up the sod. And that's going to be more labor intensive and more cost intensive. But so if you're doing the cardboard, this would be something you would do on your own. However, you could probably hire laborers, somebody to come in and just do the heavy lifting of spreading the mulch and that sort of thing. If you are a gardener who likes to do it yourself, I highly recommend giving this method a shot.
Okay, well, somewhere in there the camera cut off, and I'm not sure why. It shouldn't overheat when it's like 67 outside today and no sun. But I'm going to turn you around and show you what I got done. Got this all the way down, cardboard all along here, all the way to the edge of our other bed. Okay, next step here is to water in the cardboard. This will help start it to break down. So I'm just going to get my hose and water this in really good. No. Nope. Okay, got that all watered in, and now I'm switching cameras, so hopefully this one works as well. But the next step is to get all these bags of my product into our flower bed. This is half of what I have. I stopped pulling them all out. I'm chasing the weather. There's a good chance of rain coming in about an hour, and I don't want these bags sitting out here in the rain. So I only brought out as many as I thought I could get through. And so I'll have to go grab more here in a bit. Okay, I'm starting at the other end with the compost and then gonna work my way that way.
The product I chose to put on top of the cardboard is this garden soil by the Kellogg's company. I just ordered a pallet of it from Home Depot and they delivered it for a delivery charge instead of me having to go make a bunch of trips with my car to bring it home. I got a whole pallet, which was 48 bags. Now, I wouldn't really call this garden soil. I don't think I would use it in an actual garden bed where I was going to be growing vegetables from seed. Although it's organic, I just don't feel like the consistency is what you would want in a dirt type setting. This has a lot of organic matter in it, a lot of like fibers from trees, chunks of mulch, and it also has dirt or compost, and that's what I really liked about this. I want the compost to break down and move those nutrients into my soil. This is what will help improve my soil. Those nutrients moving down in there, helping break up the clay, adding the organic matter that the soil needs to be healthy and have a thriving environment for my plants. I consider this product to be a combination between a bark mulch and a compost. So I'm using the term compost as it isn't a decorative mulch. But I think it's going to work great for what I'm trying to achieve. This is definitely not the cheapest option out there, but I'm hoping my future self thanks me when I have excellent soil.
Okay, you can see the finished product here. This looks so much better now that it's mulched. Have a lilac ready to be planted right there, all the way to the end here. So I want to show you a close-up. This is where I have just regular mulch, bark mulch, that I used when we did the juniper project. And then here is the new, it's like a compost and mulch combination. and it's super wet. Those bags were crazy heavy. So this will all rain in, settle in, and it'll look different than it does now, because right now it just kind of looks almost like dirt. It's so wet. But if you come back here, so on the back side of these junipers, I just planted this, and I used the ground cover here is the same as what we just put in here. So once it is watered in, settled in, kind of more compacted, it looks more like a mulch, like a wood mulch. You can see all the fiber in there. I'll probably do a whole talk just on why I chose this product, but it's looking really good right here, and I cannot wait for the rest of this to look as good. Okay, that's all I have for today. So happy that I finally got this project done. It's what I've been waiting for since March. So I'll give you one final look, and thanks for watching.